This verse is a very crucial verse in the Quran, Surah Al-Arab. It is a story for all of us. Because Allah said that when your Lord bring out from the Bani Adam from his back. So it's a very strange story or incident which Allah is mentioning, that Allah is saying to Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, when your Lord bring out the children of Adam from his back. So what is meant to say that before we were here in this world, we were all out from Adam. All our souls were out from Adam. And then we were presented in front of Allah. Allah was asking us, Alastu bi Rabbikum, am I not your Lord? So that's very strange thing. And when you realize it, that this is the belief in our heart, in our system are already programmed. We are already born with that. There is a latest scientific research that the DNA of the human being, there is already imprint there that the human being are always looking for God. It is the latest research about DNA, that the human DNA is already imprinted to believe in God. Whenever he is stressed, whenever he is in problem, you always look for God to help him. And that is what we are here told in this Surah Al-Arab, that Allah gathered all the souls, bringing out from the back of Adam, and Allah witnessed them, and Allah asked them, Alastu bi Rabbikum, am I not your Lord? Qalu bala. And all of us were saying, Bala. Why not? Bakit hindi? Allah asked to our souls, hindi ba ako Panginoon ninyo? Sabi na lahat, Bala. Bakit hindi? You are our Lord. We justify this. That you will be saying, because Allah made it already the belief in our heart, so no one can blame on the day of judgment that I was not aware. So we are all born with a belief. And that's very also, this verse of the Quran is correlated with the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that all the children of Adam born on fitrah. All the children of Adam born on fitrah. This means that all the children of Adam born in the faith of God. That there is only one God that we should worship. So that's ayah of the Quran, and there is a similar hadith. The Prophet Muhammad said that all the children born in fitrah. And fitrah means Islam. Now, the children of the Christians, they are not born as a Christian. The Catholic children, they never born as a Catholic. Even in their practice, the Catholic child only become Catholic when he is being baptized in the church. So I'm asking to the Catholics, when your children were not baptized in your church, what was their religion? Prior to baptized in the Catholic Church, the children were born because they only testify there is only one God. When you born the child is crying to say Allah, but the word come out from his tongue, Huwa. And Huwa is also one of the title of Allah. Like we read in Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say he is Allah. Huwa Allah. Huwa Allah. He is Allah. Only one. So our heart have already imprinted. The Catholic Church are baptizing the child, and they call it baptism, and then he become Catholic. Before this, his religion was Islam. Islam is not a new religion. Prophet Muhammad never claimed that he brought a new religion, but he used to say, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to say, Millata abikum Ibrahim Hanifa. I am following the religion of my father Ibrahim. Prophet Muhammad never brought any new religion. It is the same religion of Abraham. His father was on religion of Abraham. His mother Amina was on religion of Abraham. His uncle Abu Talib was on religion of Abraham. His grandfather Abdul Muttalib was on religion of Abraham. The people who were in Makkah before the Prophet was appointed as a prophet, there were people who were purely mushrikeen, worshipping the idols. There were also Christians and there were also Jews in Makkah. And there were people who called themselves Hanif. Hanif. And Hanif means a person who believes in only one God, who is in the religion of Abraham. That's why what Allah said in the Quran, Millata abikum Ibrahim Hanifa. Allah said to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu say to people, I am on the religion of my father Ibrahim. He was Hanif. Hanif means worshipping only one God, Mawhid, monotheism. So that is what Allah said in the beautiful words of the Quran, that Allah gathered all the human beings together, and that we call it in our terminology is Alam Arwah, the world of souls, Mundo ng Kaluluwa. And then we all gather and in front of Allah, and Allah asked us, and we can recall it. Try to recall that Allah was talking with us and He was saying, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? Qalu bala, why not? You are our Lord. So we all testify this way. When we come in the earth and we learn about God, we already accepting it because it's in our heart. I was reading this article, a scientific research. They tried to study the human DNA, and they found out in the DNA the knowledge, the information in the DNA, that our DNA has imprint of God. We are always want to believe in God. Our heart, our DNA is pressuring us, guiding us that you should believe in God. Even the people who are trying to call themselves atheists or communists, there are times comes they started to go, my God. For example, the Mikhail Gorbachev, when he was losing the war in Afghanistan, and he was trying to intermediate with America to talk to fighters in Afghanistan to intervene and to solve this problem, the Soviet Union of Russia. And he used to speech Mikhail Gorbachev, and they were the one atheists and communists. And Mikhail Gorbachev, many occasions when he's speaking, he said, my God. Even though they were communists and atheists, but he can come out from his word, my God. Because we are already have a DNA imprinted the information of God. And that's the reason of that. These words of the Quran, that Allah gathered all the souls and Allah testified themselves and they say, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And it goes on in our DNA, in our system. And we are always believing, even we don't want to believe, but we are believing inside, internally, in our heart, in our souls. Another verse which we read tonight is worthy to be mentioned. Allah said, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَانَ لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. And surely we will drag to the hellfire the many of the jinn and the many of the men. And who are these people? That Allah will drag them to the hellfire, the many of the jinn and the many of the men. لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have the hearts, but they understand not. وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have the eyes, but they see not. What is the meaning to see? You can see the worldly things, you can see about how to make money, you can see about you can see movies, you can watch the dramas, you can watch all kind of nonsense things, but you cannot see the truth with your eyes. You are internally blind. You are spiritually blind. Allah said it is not the eyes become the blind, but what becomes blind is the heart inside you. Beware of being the blindness of the heart. The blindness of the heart is the real blindness. Allah will raise the people who are blinded internally. Allah will raise them on the day of judgment blind. And they will ask to Allah that you were not blind before. Allah will say you are blind with my signs. You are blind with my verses. So as you forget to me that day, I forget you today on the day of judgment. So Allah said there will be people among many of the jinn and the men, they will be dropped to the hellfire. لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have the hearts, but they understand not. وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have the eyes, but they see not. وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They have the ear, but they hear not. They can hear about material things. They can hear about jokes and funs, but they cannot hear about the truth, oneness of Allah. How to obey the commandments of Allah. They cannot hear this. So they are spiritually blind, spiritually dumb. And what Allah said their example, Ulaika kalan'am walhum adal. They are like cattle. They are like cow and goat and sheep and the pig. Ulaika kalan'am. They are like cattle. Walhum adal. They are worse than the cattle. They are the worse than the cattle. Ulaika humul ghafilun. They are unaware. They are sleeping. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. And for Allah are the most beautiful names, so invoke Allah with those names. Ya Allah, guide me. Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Rahim, Ya Zal Jalal, Ikram, Ya Rahman, Rahim. Invoke Allah with His names. Asma'ul Husna. وَذَرُوا الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ يَجْزَوْنَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And leave aside those who are disbelieving in His name, then they will have their punishment for what they used to do. وَمَن يُضْلِلِ اللَّهُ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. And whoever Allah misguide, no one can guide him. And whoever Allah guide, no one can misguide him. And the words yesterday I read about it. Prophet, Allah said to Prophet Muhammad, say, I have no power even for my own self for any profit and any loss, except what Allah will. And that's the same thing that Jesus said, I can do my own nothing. The Prophet, Jesus said the same thing in the New Testament, I can do my own nothing, only by the will of God. And here Allah said to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, قُلْ لَا أَمْلِكُ النَّفْسِ لَنَفْسِي نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ. Say, sure, I have no power even for my own self for any profit or any loss except what Allah wills. And similar words about Allah said, it's a different bit, but similar about but in a different aspect. Those who are invoking other than Allah, they are the slaves like your own self, like Ram, like Buddha, like Jesus, or whoever you are making God beside Allah. They are slaves like yourselves. They are slaves like yourselves. أَلَهُمَ رَجُلٌ يَمْشُونَ بِهَا أَمْ لَهُمْ أَيْدٍ يَبْطِشُونَ بِهَا أَمْ لَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ يَبْصِرُونَ بِهَا أَمْ لَهُمْ آذَانٌ يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. Do they not, they are human, they don't have a feet, they walk with it. Do they not have hold, the hands they hold with it? Do they not have the eyes they can see with it? And do they have no ears which they hear with it? So they are like you. They are just human beings like you. They have a hand and legs and eyes and they have ears. So they are just like you. So why you need to worship them? Rather you should worship the one who give you all those faculties. And the last verse, end of the verse, which is the command of Allah which we need to aware. وَإِذَا قُرِيَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَانْصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And when the Quran is reciting, listen to it and keep quiet, so you will have a mercy. So it means to say when the Quran is reciting, it is our obligation not to talk and just to listen it, so we get mercy of Allah. And if you are going to insult the Quran while the Quran is reciting and you keep on conversation, then you are getting away from the mercy of Allah. And it is very dangerous that we might get the curse of Allah because the Quran is reciting and we keep on talking. So sometimes some people are have this attitude when you are visiting people are talking, and they just put the Quran feet and they are letting people to get sick. When you are going to put the Quran, then you have to talk to everybody. Okay, I'm going to play the Quran now. We are going to be silent. And we are going to not to talk. Because it is insult of Allah. Remember this, it is insult of Allah. Like right now, I'm talking, what you doing all of you? You are silent. Why? Because you respect me. Because I'm saying the word of Allah. And you are listening it. When the Quran is reciting, it is Allah is speaking now. Because Quran is the Kalamullah. It's the word of Allah. When the Quran is reciting, it is now Allah is speaking with us. How dare we can speak now? So remember this. Don't try to just play the Quran and you keep on doing your business and talking. No. When there is a recitation of the Quran, you need to shut down your mouth. Because Allah is commanding it. وَإِذَا قُرِيَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَانْصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And when the Quran is reciting, listen to it and keep quiet. So you will be mercy upon you. And one of the very good thing I want to share, the consulate of Pakistan a Philippine consulate in Pakistan, is Dr. Ibrahim. He has some award from Oxford or Harvard Oxford University. He has some research about the effect of the Quran on the patient. And he wrote a book about it. And he mentioned in his book about this, that when there is a recitation of the Quran, it affects very good to the patients. Even though if they are not Muslims. So they try to make some research. They put in the hospital, they put the other kind of readings, and they try to put the Quran reading. When the Quran reading was coming to the patients, the patient get very well. They get very good effect on their system, on their body, on their soul, and they can check the vital signs and other things, and they realize it that the Quran has a very effect on the patient. So that is one of the miracle of the Quran. I can observe many non-Muslims when they have a good heart, when they listen to the Quran, they really admire. Sometimes they cry also. Sometimes they become very peaceful and they feel like their shaitan is going away from them. Like we are reading, listening to the Quran. We are standing for 20 rakats and we don't get bored. We don't get tired. We are feeling happy. We feel very peaceful in our heart. So that's the miracle of the Quran. The Quran is never people get bored. For 1,400 years ago, the people are keep on listening and repeating all the life, and they don't get rid of, they don't get bored with this, they don't get fed up with it. It's a miracle of Allah. It's a miracle. This Quran is the greatest miracle of all time. For example, today, how old the songs in the world existing today? 50 years maximum. After 50 years, this song will be thrown in the garbage. Nobody wants to listen in. Where is the songs of the Michael Jackson? Where is the songs of the Elvis Presley? People forget it. They come to the new. We don't like it anymore. We are getting fed up. We are bored. But look at the Quran. 1,450 years, by generation and generation and generation, keep on listening and getting enjoyed and getting happy and getting cured and getting peace in the heart. That is the greatest miracle of the Quran. The children are reading all day and they memorize the Quran and they don't get fed up. They don't get bored. All day they are reading that. And even there are some children, they don't understand it all and they're reading it and they are happy with the recitation of the Quran and they don't get fed up, they don't get bored. That's how is a beautiful, the great miracle. And also the another thing, it's easy to memorize it. You just listen it and you are starting to memorize it. Even though you don't know the one word of the Arabic, but when you listen to the Quran, you started to memorize. Surah Fatiha you memorize, Surah Al-Ikhlas you memorize, other surah you memorize. It is also the miracle of the Quran and that's how Allah protected it. So nobody can change it because it's in the minds and the hearts of the Muslims. Today, if the enemies of the Islam, they want to burn all the Quran they can burn it. Even in the cell phones, even in the computers, in the hard disk, destroy it. What happened? We can write again because its Quran is here in our hearts. No one can vanish the Quran. It is a miracle of the Quran. The Bible was already corrupted and changed by the people. We believe in Torah, but there is no original Torah. We believe in Injil, but there is no original Injil. We believe in Zabur, but there is no original Zabur. And these are already translations. And if people will destroy this, they cannot recopy it. They cannot write it again. They cannot rewrite because it's not exactly what Allah revealed to you. And Allah did not save it. Why? Because it was for that time and for all those people. But the Quran, Allah preserved it because it is for all the time and it is for all the people until the day of judgment. That's why Allah said in the Quran, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu la'afizun. Surely we send down this Quran and surely we will be protecting it. So initially, the protection of the Quran was with hifz. We understand, we translate, Hafiz means is memorizing the Quran. Hifz means is memorizing the Quran. No. Hifz means is the protection. Hafiz is the one who protects the Quran. And that is before, because there is no printing press, there is no hard disk or anything. So people, they protect the Quran, the mind and the heart. But today is not just important to memorize the Quran. It is not that important. What is more important to understand the Quran? The Quran being reciting without any understanding. Blindly. The people don't know what Allah is giving the message in the Quran. So what is important is not just to listen to the Quran, is not just to memorize the Quran, but to understand the Quran. And understanding the Quran and to follow the Quran and to propagate the Quran. So now the Muslim world today is focusing on how to read the Quran, how to listen to the Quran without understanding. That is a dilemma. That's a great disaster for the whole Ummah. We need to learn the Quran. We need to understand the Quran. We need to follow the Quran. We need to obey the Quran. And we need to follow and to propagate the Quran to the whole world. May Allah guide us. May Allah forgive us.